get thick, girl. Get thick, girl. Get thick, girl. Okay. Hey queens, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about what is the best glute workouts that'll get you from ba-boom to ba-bam. Okay, because I feel like it's really confusing, especially when you go online and you're like, okay, this person said this is the best glute workout, but this person said it's this one. This person has said, okay, all right, let's make it less overwhelming and let's gather ourselves so then you can get the best glute workout, and we're gonna give details. We're gonna give details. So a lot of people always say this glute workout is the best, this glute workout is the best, but honestly, it is very subjective to you, okay? And I'm saying this is because the best glute workout is the one that you're gonna have, one, the best form in, the best muscle to mind connection with, and the one that you can do progressive overload the most with. So I'm gonna break it down into 3 parts so that way you can see which workouts, and then we're gonna talk about a little bit more stuff at the end. So form is number 1. It doesn't matter if you're doing the best glute workout. It doesn't matter if you're doing this, if you're doing that. It matters if your form is correct. If your form is incorrect, you're gonna be targeting the wrong muscle, okay? You're gonna be targeting quads, you're gonna be targeting hamstrings instead of really targeting your glutes as a primary factor. So your form is important. It should be the main focus when you start trying to grow your glutes. Now, why is form really important? Is because if you're trying to grow your glutes, you're trying to do hypertrophy training, and actually doing the form correct actually matters. So this is what I would do. 1, I would definitely start recording my form and check if I'm doing the form correctly. 2, I would check if I could feel it primarily in the muscle that I'm trying to target. So if I'm doing hip thrust, I know that I'm supposed to feel it in my glutes, not in my left eye. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of videos on my Instagram and my TikTok where I show form and stuff like that. And I could do a YouTube video, I guess. If you guys want me to do one about form, then comment below and what exercise I should include, if I should include different glute workouts. But anyways, focus on your form. Now, number 2, okay, and this is where a lot of you guys drop the ball, including me, because I did drop the ball for about 2 years. But that's the past. That's the past, okay? You know how much glute growth I could have gotten if I would have done this in the beginning? Anyways, muscle to mind connection. You have to have muscle to mind connection. Okay, what does that mean? That's just a fancier way of saying, hey, you better feel it in the correct muscle, okay? And you better actually feel it the entire time in the workout, all right? So I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you are doing hip thrust, and let's say you're doing the hip thrust, and by maybe your 5th rep or around there, you stop feeling it in your glutes. You start feeling it everywhere else. That's because you're not focusing on muscle to mind connection. And yes, form is tied into this, but also thinking about utilizing that muscle is going to matter. Because if you're going into hip thrust and you're not thinking, okay, I'm gonna try to use my glutes as much as possible, you might end up using a bunch of your calves, a bunch of your quads, a bunch of your back. So you have to think and take a mental note. I'm using my glutes, I'm using my glutes, I'm using my glutes, I'm using my glutes. Another thing with muscle to mind connection is that you want to feel it the entire time in the workout, especially because we're doing hypertrophy training. So if you're doing hip thrust and you're not feeling it by the 5th rep or something like that, then that would be a different kind of training. But we're doing hypertrophy training, so you do have to feel it the entire time. That means that you either have to fix your form, you have to lower the weight, you have to focus on muscle to mind connection. That is going to grow your glutes from ba-boom to ba-boom. Muscle to mind connection, ladies. Telling you. Now, I left this one in the end because this was going to be a little complex. So you might want to take a notebook. You might want to, I don't know, screen record. You might want to do something because this is going to get a little harder now, okay? And this is progressive overload, okay? If your workout, you cannot progressive overload in it, then you might as well just do another work. You can progressively overload it. Now, progressive overload is just a fancier way of saying, hey, by the way, you have to make sure you're able to challenge that muscle, fatigue it, blah, 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 blah. Now, the question is, how do you do that? How do you go about fatiguing the muscles? Now, there's several different ways, so we're gonna go through the different ways that you could progressive overload, and then if you can't progressive overload, then it's time for you to change the workout, which I will get that to the end. I recommend to do this in every single of your workouts that you're doing for glutes or any area that you're trying to grow, but doing the movement slow and controlled, okay? There's this thing called time under tension, which is really important when you're trying to grow a muscle. So let's say you're doing hip thrusts, or I'll just talk about hip thrusts, so let's change it. Let's say I'm doing RDLs, okay? And I'm trying to grow my glutes. You are not Speedy Gonzalez, okay? Mommy, slow down, relax, okay? you cannot do it so fast, okay? I used to do this and it didn't help, okay? When you're doing it really, really fast, yes, it's gonna burn, you're gonna feel in your glutes, but you're not focusing on that muscle to mind connection, right? So the time under tension ties into that muscle to mind connection. If you're doing that workout super, super fast, it's not gonna help you grow your glutes as much as you think. So I would say 4 seconds down and 4 seconds up is my main go-to, and also doing a 1 second pause at the top of the movement. So for example, if I'm doing hip thrust, I'm 4 seconds going down, 4 seconds going up, and a 1 second pause at the top. That's gonna have more time under tension. I'm doing the movement slow and controlled, and that is gonna help me go from boom boom to boom boom. Okay, okay. These are things that I figured out too late, too late. Listen to my warning so you don't have to suffer like I did. Anyways, now another way you could progressive overload, which is one of my favorite ones, is to do supersets. Okay, now with supersets, what you do is you're doing a workout back to back that is on the same muscle. Okay, so we're gonna be doing, for example, glutes, right? And you're gonna be doing a hip thrust. Let's say you do 8 reps of your hip thrust, and then right after, with no break, you do 8 reps of a calf glute bridge, right? Which is just a halfway or short version of the hip thrust. And then one way that you could progressive overload, which is the most popular one, is adding or increasing the weight of the workout. This is how you're gonna go about it. Let's say the first week that you're doing hip thrust, right? And you have a 8-pound dumbbell and you feel it in your glutes, you have good muscle to mind connection, and you have good form, okay? And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna increase the reps. So let's say you started week 1 with 8 reps. Now you're gonna increase it to 12 reps for the second week. Now, if your form and then your muscle to mind connection is correct, then you could increase it to, let's say, 10 pounds, right? You should pick a weight where you can't do more than 12, even maximum 15 reps. Because once you go past the 15 reps, you're doing endurance training, you're not doing hypertrophy training, it's not gonna grow your glutes, it's gonna shrink your glutes. So listen to that. You don't wanna do super advanced workouts if your body's not prepared for it or your body's not used to working out. But as long as you have those 3 things established, then you will be able to make a lot of glute progress. There is no sense of you doing a Bulgarian split squat on the first day of you working out if you don't have good muscle to mind connection, you don't have good form, you can't even progressively overload in it without getting injured. It's just pointless. It's just, you're gonna get in a loop of nothingness. Okay, so make sure you guys like and subscribe so then you could get your big glutes. Get some big glutes, get some big glutes. Get some big glutes, get some big glutes. Take a break, okay? This is going to fatigue the muscle. It's going to challenge the muscle. So it's actually going to help you grow. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help you get thick, girl. Get thick, girl. Get thick, girl. Okay, another way you could progressive overload, and which is one of my favorites because it saves you a lot of time in your workouts and in the gym. Now that we know all these things, what I'm trying to say is whichever glute workout that you pick has to be good in all of these categories. So you have to have good form, good muscle to mind connection, and be able to progressively overload without sacrificing your muscle to mind connection or your form. That is gonna grow your glutes. Now, some people have a preference of hip thrust, some people have a preference of RDL, some people have a preference of Bulgarian split squats. Actually, nobody has a preference of Bulgarian split squats. That workout is literally evil.